Speedboat Maniac 410. I think I'm coming at you guys. So today, guys, what we're doing is, first of all, I'm trying to get myself together. That's the first thing. That's always difficult. I got my tools out, okay? As you guys seen from the previous episode, we switched the hoses to crossover. Again, and the only reason that I'm doing that, okay, is I want to see the other header get just as warm as this header because of obviously a low water flow or lower water pressure on the inboard header. I want to see that same problem transfer over to the other one. People would say, well, why would you want to do that? I want to eliminate the fact that possibly that tailpipe and header is too restrictive of itself and how it's made. Maybe the clearances aren't enough. Maybe it's not getting enough flow. It gets hot pockets on it, or it steams the water out. The water's coming from that side of the engine, and it could be a variable of things or a combination of things. So I'm just trying to eliminate those things and go, okay, look, that header got hot, or it's starting to turn gold, let's stop, you know. And then I know, okay, we need to focus on the water coming into the block. Well, we already know it doesn't have, you know, enough water. All right, we already talked about the pickups, possibly lowering the pickups. Not possibly, I'm going to. At least on that one pickup. I'm going to have my welder add a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch, keep the same angle cut on it. I'm not changing the pickups right now. I'm not going to French them into the step anywhere right now. I'm not opposed to that, but for right now, I'm trying to just get solid water pressure up to my C pump and make sure the C pump is pumping water. Now look, I touched on this a little bit before, but it seems a little redundant again, you know, guys, and I always hate to say this all the time, you know, if you're bored with the video or whatever, you know, seriously, just click off and just leave right now, because I know what it's like. I watch videos all the time, and sometimes I'm like, this guy's talking about the same thing over and over again. But that's where we're at. You know, we have a boat with a motor in it that's been doing the same thing on and off, basically on, for, you know, a 1.5 years, and I haven't been able to resolve the issue. So I'm slowly, meticulously getting through it. So I need to make sure I got good water pressure. So that's lowering the pickup on that one side, on the port side, obviously, only. I'm not lowering the starboard side. I'm not changing anything on the starboard side. It's fine. If it ain't broke, I ain't fixing it. Focus on what I can do with that. But today, what I'm going to do is, the lines that I actually put are just temporary, and it's just standard heater hose, okay? The block water that circulates to the actual exhaust is cool enough. I was only running like 140 or 150, 160, I think, at the very most on the one motor. So it's not that high of water temperature. So the heater hose is not going to fail, let's hope. Now those crossover lines, they're back to the ordinary cheese puff heater hose that will blow out in the first 3 minutes heading up to Love Point. So that's possible we might have to do something different with it. I also got to crimp a little electrical connector on a, I'll show you when we get up there. So I got all my tools out, guys. Let's take a look. All right, you know, my old cheesy setup, you know. I got all my tools here, my electrical connectors, my dielectric grease. It's always good to put dielectric grease on everything. And my crimpers and stuff are in here. And then my little drain pan. And by the way, I wanted to also mention, when I was back flushing everything, I put that pan underneath to catch water to see what kind of particulates and junk and crap was going to come out. Nothing. Out of the trans cooler, nothing. Nothing out of the oil coolers, either way. Nothing out of the headers. There was no junk or anything. So it's possibly, you know, not a blockage, you know. And I know the motor was running the other day when I was explaining it to you guys. But, and I want to say this again, because I like to work it through in my own mind too. The water neck that comes into the front of the block is a 90, okay? Now it does come in flat, and it's basically an aluminum block with a hollow spot in it that just diffuses water in one side of the block and diffuses water in the other side of the block. Okay, that said, the water between two sides of the block, the head, the intake, and the exhaust and the header, neither one of those touch each other at any one time. They are, in fact, fed from the front of the block with that 90 that sweeps in from the outboard side kind of gunnel area. Okay, it comes in and around and up. And it's possible, okay, that 90 where it comes in, water pressure or not, however much water pressure you have, if the pickup's not down low enough, number one, if you don't have enough volume because you don't have a good enough pump or you don't have enough pressure coming from a pickup, either way, that 90, the water might naturally want to catch that 90 and sweep to the outboard side of the engine, not the inboard side. By the time it gets in there and wrestles around with the block in there or whatever, it curves that way and heads that way. In talking with Joey Griffin, he said, aren't you glad that I just said, let's go fix the boat, and I came back talking for 3 minutes? Like I said, Speedboat Maniac, and the root word of maniac is mania. So I'm hoping y'all are hanging in there with me. But nobody else out there is crazy. No. So anyway, Joey was saying years ago, these same motors, with this water neck, he remembers building dozens and dozens of motors. He used to do motors for B&M and things like that, not only repairs but rebuilds and dynoing them. And he said one side of the motor was always like 20 or 30 degrees hotter than the other side of the engine. So till they changed that water neck and made sure that there was enough water going to both sides of the engine, they didn't eliminate that problem until they figured out, hey, you can't just shove water in with a 90 coming from that side. It can't find its way. It's supposed to. Again, if you have a lot of volume of water, then it should, yes. But if you're low on water pressure or a solid stream coming from your pickup, it's possible that you're not going to have enough water flow to one side of the engine, and one side of the engine will run warmer or hotter than the other. Now, Joey said, you know, there's nothing to worry about. There's no damage. The boat runs good. All my plugs look the same all the way down. I pulled the plugs and looked at them. Nothing's running lean. I've had somebody down, several people say, you know, use a heat gun to see where the hot spots are or whatever. You know, that's important to do, but I'm not exactly a slow learner. I'm a little slow sometimes, but you can tell where there's a hot spot. It's called put your hand on the motor and see which side's cool and which side's not. So that's what I did. And sure enough, the inboard side of that intake feeding that header was warmer than the other side, even sitting at idle after 15 minutes. So enough talking. Let's get it up in here. I'll show you guys a little closer what I've done. I'm not sure if I'm going to take the boat out today or tomorrow or whatever. But I'd like to get it out and give it another run and see if I can break it again. Again, I know that it's not fixed. I'm not saying it's fixed. I'm saying let's do this experiment of if it's going to have a problem from one side to the other. So let's go take a look at this electrical connection where I'm going to tie wrap these hoses temporarily so the belt doesn't chew them up while we're running up and around the bay. So let's see. Okay, everyone out there in YouTube land, here's what I'm going to do, okay? Out of the intake here, I already showed you this the other day, but I know the video wasn't that good and the motor was a little loud, so It's not right now. Coming out of this side, right? I'm going to tie wrap it right here with my Sanford & Son situation, missing the belt by a whole, oh boy, ½ inch. Tie wrapping it underneath of here, just for now, right here. And then it hits this header, guys. Okay, on this side, right there, all right? Okay, and then I come out of this side of the intake, and the best way I found to do was snake it down through here. It's not going to pinch, it's not going to, you know, and nothing's going to affect it. Again, this is just temporary. And then to this side of the header, the one that was failing, to see if we get more volume of water over here, and this one doesn't get hot, and that one does. Then, you know, again, to talk a little bit about this water neck, okay? It's going to be hard to see it, but this block right here, okay, right here, goes all the way across the front of the engine. And in here, it's hollow, and it feeds the block water, all right, on this side of the engine, separate from that side of the engine, right there. But in this red block, it's hollow, obviously, because that's where water passes through. So, however they designed the water neck, and it's hard to see, guys, but it's right there. It's the black thing right down there, okay? And it's a 90, and it heads kind of off to the left and then turns to a silver. You can see that fitting right there. But what we're saying, and what Joey was saying has happened for years, is in this 90, that the water might naturally not feed to this side of the block. And they had to change that design years ago. How many years ago? I don't know. Now this motor, I don't know if a lot of guys know this, unless they've been on Offshore Only and looked at the ad for my boat that I posted over a year ago while I'm selling it. Some of the description has it in there, but I emailed Teague last year, okay? I got a response within 10 minutes on an email with my serial numbers. In other words, I sent my serial numbers to both of these blocks. These blocks, engines, and this whole setup, and I believe the transmissions and the outdrives, okay, from what Dan McNamara, whom I bought the boat through. I didn't buy it from Dan, but through him, of Team Archer Marine out in Dana Point, California. Costa Mesa, California. Had it listed, and that these motors were 1100s. And they are, and they were, but they're not 1100s anymore. They've been detuned to 800, well, technically they're like 830 at 5800, okay? But their power range and curve is like 775 at like 5100 or 5300 or something like that. 775 horsepower-ish. So they are the same motors that came out of the Citgo race boat, the 1999 Citgo race boat. These were spec APBA 1100 motors for back in the day. Obviously 17 or 19 years ago. All right, the boat was campaigned. The Citgo race boat, the 1999 Citgo race boat. These motors came out of it. So apparently the cams were changed. A little bit was changed and they were detuned. They put bigger pulleys on them. Obviously you can see how big the pulleys are. The bigger the pulley, the less boost you're running. We're only running 4 pounds of boost. So anyway, the reason why I'm sharing that is that's the history of these motors, okay? So they've been refreshed, as anybody knows, and I've gone over several times before, just a year to like a year and 3 months ago from Joey Griffin, okay? Completely disassembled, completely gone through, everything checked, whatever needed clearances or turned down or whatever, and everything came out fine, and you see it on the dyno, and she's running Dougie fresh. Okay, other than this overheating problem with this header. So, I have no idea why I got off on that tangent, but, it was because of the water neck problem, okay? The water neck situation, and they would have to change these water necks, and the water would have to come in through the top more evenly, and have these, I don't know, I've never seen them. Maybe I can look them up on Teague or Hardin or whatever they use nowadays. So, I'm just going to tie wrap these lines for now, and then let's see if I can drag the video on and make it like 45 minutes, and you guys only got 5 minutes of information. And then the other day I was checking this water temperature on this head on this motor, and I went to pull the whatchamacallit off, and the line broke. So I'm going to put a new crimped in on here and slide it back on to there. You can see the wire came off. Okay, this is a simple fix, no big deal. Let's get to it. Less talk, more action. But I gotta walk you guys through a little bit of what we're doing, and talk you guys through what we're doing. So that's what's happening. Let's get it buttoned up. Alright guys, I'm back. It took me 20 minutes to gather my tools because I can't find anything because I'm so freaking organized. So, look, again, everybody's got their own way of doing something. You know, there's a right way, a wrong way, and then there's a way that will just get it done. So, I'm going to cut this off, right? Chuck it out in the backyard. Strip me, I don't know, about like this. I don't have a smaller, look, the wire's in pretty good shape. Alan just replaced this the beginning of last season, like in May or June, so it's just a year old. The temperature for this block on this side, the starboard motor. Now look, these are not the, this is what I'm going to use right here, right? It's a 1/4 inch push on. Let me make sure it fits. Oh yeah, it's a little tight. That's what we want. I got to do a dry run on it, make sure she's going to fit on there and come off. Yeah, it just has a situation where it goes on and has like a locking situation in there. I like saying the word situation. Let me see something, because I like to struggle. Just want to make sure it's going to go on and stay on. And this is not a brass one, so you know it's only going to have a 2-month life. Yeah, see, it's not going on there so well. For some reason, it's like it has a stop in there or something. Or it's the wrong size. Obviously, if it's not fitting, it's the wrong size, but this is the same way the other one was. It was shaped before it got broke off. I broke it off by accident because I was going to pull it off and just double check that it was working okay. I was watching my thermostat go up and down as I unplugged it and plugged it. It went from, you know, the meter being bottomed out to right around under 100 to, when I plugged it back in, it went to like 110 or 120 the one day when I was idling at the boat dock. I was just checking the water temperature. Let's see if I can struggle some more and waste more of y'all's valuable video time. I don't know why I can't get this to go on here. There it is. It just needed to be massaged a little bit. Nothing's damaged. It just needed to be massaged. Okay? And obviously these are just the self-crimping ones like this. Alright, it's aluminum, so again, it'll rot out in 2 or 3 months. But, hey, I just want to make sure the temperature on the engine's okay. And I'll check it every once in a while. So what I usually do, if I can, I fold this wire, since it's thinner. If it's not too thick, I use some dielectric grease. Everybody's got their own way of doing something electrical, you know. And then I fold this over to make more wire so it has more, hopefully you guys can see that. It has more surface area on this. Now what I usually do, so I don't struggle, because I will struggle, okay, I have a piece of heat shrink tubing that I'm going to slide over it. The problem is, in order for it to fit over, and I know they make fittings that have the heat shrink on them already. Now, I'm an idiot. I should have not put the dielectric grease on there before I put the heat shrink on there, but it'll be mint. Okay. Slide it back on there. Right. And I just take my lineman's crimpers, right? Use the same one that I was struggling with earlier. Put it on this notch, and you squeeze it to where, in these, you rotate it to where when you do crimp it, this little crimping side doesn't squeeze the split part of the connector. You put the split part of the connector on the concave part of the, what you call them, of the pliers. Alright? Whatever. I'm not giving a tutorial. I'm just showing you what I do and what my experience. You run this sucker in here all the way to where it hits. It hit right there in the bottom. And you give it some loving. It ain't got to be pretty. It's just got to be good. Okay, like so. Take the heat shrink. It should fit over there because I checked it before I went nuts. And take your trusty barbecue lighter like this. Or some of you guys have those little mini torches. They bring back bad memories for a lot of us. Now I know this heat shrink is not going to shrink around this brown wire too closely, but it's okay. It's enough to help out a little bit. You know, I'm just trying to get in the right direction, guys. If you're looking for perfect, you might want to click off of this channel. We're trying functional. We want to go get some oysters somewhere on the bay and a nice iced tea. Oh yeah, she's mint. On a nice boat ride where we can at least hammer it and get it close to 90, 91, 92 miles an hour without breaking something every 10 minutes. That's what we're doing. So that's that. We're going to let that cool. Okay. And then pop this back together. Right. And I'm not going to put it on there just yet. And I probably will put some dielectric grease on this brass fitting. Imagine that. Just a little bit so the connection's nice. It didn't have any corrosion on it, so I don't have to necessarily, you know, clean it with Scotch-Brite or something. So let's see if the old boy can get it on there without struggling too bad. She's pretty mint. Look at that. Now it's a little willy-nilly though. I think I might have to squeeze it. Yeah, Wes. Might have to just squeeze it a little bit on the outside. Just a little bit. See if it tightens up any. There you go. I don't want to cut it. That's fine. You know, that's exactly fine. It is not going to slide off because I crimped it directionally. Look at that. All right. Let me see if I can't get some comments down below about that jerry rig. All right, so now, speaking of jerry rig, we're going to continue our jerry rigness. And we're going to go over here, put a tie wrap right here, between this hole and here, and then one on that side. And I'll let you guys take a look at it in a minute and see what I got. And everything else is checked out. I have everything else buttoned up from the other day when I was back flushing everything with the garden hose. Tightened all the hose clamps, made sure all the fittings were tight. So other than that, I might try, because it'll be hard without taking the tail off, to put a new fitting here, or here, you know, the triple wall hose. Because if anything, if this one's going to fail, this hose will be the next hose to blow, obviously. You know, it's not exactly rocket science, so we know that might be possible. But I would like to put a triple wall hose so I can at least see. You know, it might be smart just to bring an extra hose. No, let that hose blow. Let it blow. and know that that side got hot, and then we can check off the box where we know that this header is restricting, or header or tailpipe is too long, is restricting, and then we know. So you know what? I think I'm going to leave this cheesy puff single wall heater hose line on that, and we'll see. So you guys don't need to stick around for me tie wrapping this. I think I'm back. I'm giving it the best I can, guys. If you like this video, guys, I know it was long and a pain in the tuchus, but give it a big thumbs up. Click the like button down below. You know, make it turn blue. You know, the same thing as giving it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, if you can stand the channel anymore and all of this nonsense that I got going on. Turn on your notification bell. It's a little bell. It's shaped like a bell. It acts like it's going to shake. Click that on so any videos that I got coming out, you guys get them right away. You know, because who knows? It might be another month and a half before I send a video out. Comment down below. Tell me what I did wrong, what you don't like about me, and if I need to lose weight or pick on me a little bit. Or give me some good comments. Give me that push. You guys have been pushing me really good in a good direction. And share the video with somebody else. It just helps get more views and get the channel going, so I can make $3 every week on the YouTube channel. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching Speedboat Maniac, and me down in here jerry-rigging everything in this engine compartment on the old 42 Fountain. And to you and your family, most importantly, God bless.